Good morning, everyone. Hold on 1 second. Good morning, Amy. Yeah, I just tried it. It said you cannot live stream. So I tried again and tried again. It finally went through. Morning, Nick. Uh, Good morning, DMC, Waking the Lions. You got some much needed rest. Good morning, Anthony. Um, I got a few things I'm going to talk about today. Trying to think of where to start. How's everybody doing? I hope y'all are doing as good as you can. I will tell you that I think I'm on to something on well, I'm just going to start out playing this real quick.
Here, and a vice president he personally funded into office with $15 million. The network had venture capital, government contracts, and a deadline. The money didn't stop flowing because Epstein went to prison. It just changed hands.
Okay, what he's fixing to talk about next here is the Manhattan Project. It's only going to be like 2 minutes, and I'm going to make a good point behind this.
The original Manhattan Project cost about $28 billion in today's dollars. It was built in secret by a self-selected group of scientists who believed they were saving civilization, under the authority of people who decided the public didn't need to know until after the weapon was used. Some of those scientists genuinely believed they were doing the right thing. Robert Oppenheimer called it a technically sweet problem. After Hiroshima, he told Harry Truman he had blood on his hands. Truman told him to get out of the office. By then, it didn't matter what the scientists felt. The weapon existed, the infrastructure existed. You can't unbuild a bomb. OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Amazon.
Okay, I say that to say this. And what that tells me is the Manhattan Project was not even talked about until after the bomb was dropped. So nobody even knew about what they were doing. Nobody knew about the weapon. It was a big project. I've actually been to the town where it was built in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. But uh, so what makes us think that we are getting answers from white papers about what they're doing to us and all that, and know what really is happening to us with these weapons? Because it's obvious they don't show their hand until after it's over. So just some food for thought. And I will tell you that that Mark, the guy I interviewed, I told him to go on this certain vitamin regimen, the same regimen I was doing, the one I interviewed last, who was getting fried in his home and all that. And I'm telling you, there's something to these weapons draining vitamins and minerals. And he's starting to feel, he's still getting attacked. His attacks are, let's see what he says. He said, I just got your message. I'm feeling better. Thanks. I had a very rough night last night, got hit hard. I noticed I recovered much faster though. I think the vitamins are really working better now. And there's certain vitamins I've been taking, so I know that the vitamins they're doing something it's draining the vitamins. Um, I think, and here's another. I think the vitamins are starting to help now. I don't feel as run down. Um, and then there's one said he made two. He walked the property twice, which is a big deal. Um, so I'd say I'm just saying there's certain kinds of vitamins I told him to take, and he's been doing it. And if you'd have seen the text, the first 2 weeks text, he thought he was going to die. He was feeling horrible. Um, you know, he was. terrified, couldn't even get up hardly. And I just told him, keep taking these vitamins, keep taking these vitamins. And there's certain kinds of vitamin D, but you got to get a certain kind. I told him, I sent him screenshots of what I take and told him when to take it and how to take it. And he's getting good results in how he feels. Now, like I said, it don't stop the attacks, but the attacks are draining and depleting minerals. So even when they're not attacking you, you're still going to feel horrible like you're dying because vitamin deficiencies are very, very severe and very real, and they have very bad results. So I just wanted to cover that real quick. Nick said they've been pulsing my shoulder the last 6 months now. It feels like I know it's just more BS and I need to do everything I can to ignore it, but it hurts today. I think what a lot of people are missing is the glycine maximum, the way bigger fish here, and we're missing a critical piece of historian information. Yeah, my point with that with what I played about the Manhattan Project is the fact that what it said was they kept it secret until it was over and done with, till the attack happened. The project was top secret. They spent billions of dollars, and the whole town of Oak Ridge, matter of fact, was a military town, and all four entrances to the town was blocked off uh, with people with machine guns, and military lived there. And the people working on the project lived there, and Oak Ridge was opened up and became a city, but in Anderson County, Tennessee. But what I'm saying is, uh, the whole town was just a military town. The military lived there. All the houses and stuff were occupied by military, and only military could come in that town. So what I'm saying is, if that's how they maneuver and they keep everything secret until everything is done and over with, why do we think we have all these answers about what they're doing with us, how they're hitting us, how they're attacking us? Hell, all this information they're releasing to us and all these white papers people are getting and saying it's happening this way, it's happening that way. Do you all not think that's information warfare? Have them look here, there. They haven't even 9,305 patents unreleased, and people are on here like they know what's going on and all that. I just think it's very interesting. I'm always a deep thinker. It makes me really, really think. Well, maybe we're all wrong about what's happening to us. Well, how it's happening. We know we're being attacked, weapons and all that. But what I'm saying, maybe we're all wrong. If that's how they operate, they don't let you know until it's over. Um, I don't know, just some food for thought. I go to really some deep thoughts. Uh, Good morning, very soon. Good morning, Rob. Vice President Truman didn't know about the bomb till after FDR died, right? So I'm saying psychological warfare, it makes sense to put all these papers out, white papers, have all these people on these podcasts talking about they know what's going on, they know what works, and you can destroy it using this, you can destroy it using that, and how does anybody know any of this? How do we really, really know? So I'm just saying it's food for thought. I just go deep. Nick said, I completely, we're reverse engineering something that's obviously a big secret, and we are the best we can to catch up. Exactly, Nick. Uh, oh, I want to show y'all something. Here's an example of a noise campaign. Okay, this is what happens when you have a noise campaign going on. Uh, this happens all the time. Because I don't get out much, so they bring the stuff to me. Okay, I don't think I shared the screen, did I? Probably not. Okay, let me get this. All right, here we go. Noise campaign right here. There's no car coming either way. Uh, nobody walking. So I catch stuff like that all the time. Uh, let's see. Am I still on? I think I am. Okay, yeah, I am. All right. Um, I mean, look at the church committee. They had access to all the documentation for MK Ultra trials, but even after adapts, it was still kept secret. I mean, heck, the majority of what I work on and research based on what little research from church communities survived the public. Oh yeah, I love your word, Nick. I think you're really on to something. But I really think like, wow, they're keeping this secret. Um, there's no telling what is really going on. Okay, let's see. And then I have, but we've been we took a break, and are slowing way down, but we're still going to be doing stuff, and sometimes you just need breaks and sit in silence and get stuff done and reflect and you know stay close to the Most High, because really, in my opinion, staying close to God is the only way you can guarantee to any good outcome out of this. And I'm not trying to push beliefs on anybody. I'm just saying there are results. I've seen results, and all I have to do when I get mad at the Most High and start doubting Him because stuff's not going my way and everybody's against me and stuff is just look at all He's brought me through. When I look at my past and see all the stuff He got me through, that there's no explanation outside of spiritual force. It just enlarges my faith and makes me stop my whining to God. I would call it because I get mad at God too. I think everybody does. Um, but I'm always up front with the Most High, and He knows my heart, and I don't try to hide it from Him when I am upset. I tell Him. But in Luke, there's a parable where the Jesus tells a parable about the Pharisee who was all dressed up and he put this suit on and he fasted and he prayed, and then you had the man that ran out into the middle of the street, ripped his shirt off, beat on his chest, and looked up and cried out to God with all his heart and said, "God help me." Um, and God help me, I'm a sinner. And Jesus said that uh, God heard the man that went out the street and beat on his chest before He heard the dude that was trying to do everything perfect. So it's just food for thought about that too. God hears you as long as you cry out with your heart and are sincere. So never be as scared to, never feel like you're too unworthy to call out to the Most High, because the Most High hears you as long as you're speaking with your heart and you're crying out with your heart. And uh, you know, I think, well, I know, God judges the heart, so never be afraid to call out to God. Don't let Satan trick you into thinking that you're too unworthy to be heard by God, because that parable in Luke, and I can't remember, I think it may be Luke 18, I'm not sure, but that parable just clarifies what I'm saying here. Okay, I'm going to show y'all something else pretty interesting, but y'all might have already saw it. A reporter Okay, it says right here, a reporter who investigated Jeffrey Epstein is fleeing the U.S. after alleged direct energy weapon attack. A journalist, here, I'll leave that up here for a minute. A journalist who has reported extensively on late financer Jeffrey Epstein's notorious Mexico ranch says she's fleeing the country, claiming she was the victim of direct energy weapons attack over her coverage. Elise Valdez Rodriguez, a former Boston Globe, LA Times reporter, but later became a best-selling novelist, said she abruptly abandoned her New Mexico residence after she suffered described as symptoms consistent with Havana syndrome. It appears my home has been located by, well, whomever is unhappy about reporting about Zorro Ranch and local cover-up here. Uh, this morning I was hitting my home by two episodes of what I later learned were likely direct energy weapon attacks, she wrote. We wasted no time in leaving the house for good. She said she'd be staying in safe houses while preparing to leave the United States permanent. There's no public evidence supporting her allegations, of course. Huh. She states the alleged attacks may have involved a backpack-sized weapon placed on or near her roof by private contractors. The second round attacks seemed to come from the back of a large semi-truck that parked across my house. The devices have gotten smaller. Some are the size of large machine guns. Now, I don't doubt what she says, but at the same time, I also question, um, has she been hooked up to the system? Did they pull indirection and make her think they were on top of the house? Did they make her think the box truck was shooting direct energy weapons at her? And really, it's because she has stuff inside of her that's been activated. Because the way I understand it works is chemtrails spray this stuff. Um, Everybody's not activated, but everybody has this stuff in them and can potentially be activated. So chemtrails have been spraying this stuff around the whole world. This is my theory on it because we none of us know, but well, we know what we've are allowed to know, and we probably know the old tech. But what I'm saying is everybody's got the stuff in them, but everybody's not activated. But if you get out of line, piss off the wrong person, they got connections, or if you get out of line in any kind of way and they want to target you, all they got to do is activate the stuff inside your body. That's the way I think it works. Now, do they have weapons like that? Of course, they got backpack-sized weapons. And of course, they got weapons in the back of trucks and all that. I'm sure they do. So I'm not dismissing her claim. I'm just saying, they love pulling in direction. The neighbor comes home at 5 o'clock every day, and then they start attacking you at 5 o'clock every day, and you notice every time you get hit, the neighbor's pulling in. So you equate it to the neighbor, and you go and confront the neighbor, and then you get an assault charge on the neighbor. And the whole time it wasn't him. They were just hitting you when the neighbor came home, making you think that and sending you out on a crazy mission in your mind. Uh, so, uh, Amy said, I don't believe in religion, but I do believe in the Creator, and there's much truth within religious text. Rob Lander said, I agree. When I've had enough, the Most High gives me hope again. Yes, he does. He may not give you what you want, but if you notice, he'll always get you by. Whether it's a chicken sandwich with ants all over it, or somebody just pull up out of the blue and say, looks like you're having a rough day. Here's some money. Uh, so that's just a couple incidences that happened with me. Um, they're messing with my life right now, Darth Goon says. I'm sorry to hear that. I use people from my past work and store entrances. Are you talking about like doppelgangers, Darth Goon? Hi, David. Hi, KS. I hope you're doing well. The head chaplain from West Point and his RN wife for long involved in my life. After head chaplain West Point 20, he became head of chaplain of National Park Systems. Yeah, it's very interesting. The national parks, there's all kinds of, the Grand Canyon. Uh, they won't let you go to parts of the Grand Canyon. I find that interesting. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Well, they used to be able to hit me with their phones within 15 feet. Now they're hitting me with cell phones 30 foot away. Oh yeah, they can hit with phones. Nick said another thing to consider is what if these things actually simple to make, like they're literally a repurposed countertop microwave. Exactly. Yep. And I'm tempted to play a video, and I just don't know if y'all could be open-minded enough to this video because, I watch videos, and I don't, well, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to really go there, but go into some of my. And this is a good video that really puts a perspective on the chemtrails and what they're doing to us. However, this guy is really, he does not, he's got some wild beliefs, but his theory about the chemtrails and this video was 13 years ago. And that's what I find interesting about this video is I used to watch him all the time and get nuggets of information, even though most people would hear him, tell his theories about Jesus and all that, and it not line up with them, and they would close their mind off because he talked about Jesus and but I'm open-minded enough to know he can't affect my beliefs and what I believe because my faith is too strong. So if you can be that way, then you can learn nuggets from people that have nuggets. Now, so I don't want to play that because I don't really want to mess people's stuff up because everybody's not like that as strong as that. But I wish I could. I'm going to figure out how to edit that video and try to figure out how because the way he explains the chemtrail thing is about the way I just explained it, except he goes deep in it. And this was 13 years ago, and he talks about the bioAPI, uh, bio interface, and how. Let me see if I can read some of this transcript. Let me see. Good morning, Mindy. If we go with Occam's razor, a little dash of okay to be wrong. Yes, they are. Yeah, it's okay to be wrong. Employees from jobs I quit due to gang stalking. Okay. Oh, so they just meet you at the entrance so they can see you, so you can see the bullies when you walk in the store, and then it messes your whole store experience up. I see what you're saying, Darth Goon, but this says this dude's got a good theory. I mean, but this dude has a lot of knowledge, and I don't know where he got his knowledge from, and I wish. Uh, man, I don't know if I should just tell y'all to go to the video yourself, put the video on the thing. I'm just saying, I don't believe everything he says. Don't think my beliefs line up with his. However, in this video, he's really divulging. If you just tune everything out, but the chemtrails, what they're doing with the chemtrails, and and how it works and how you're targeted then you could um, take stuff out of here. I'm trying to see something, see if I can read some of this. It says instead of spraying the trails and slowly killing everybody, why don't they just nuke everybody? You ever ask yourself like that? But anyway, it says it's more to it than trying to destroy you by poisoning it. It's more to it. It's just blocking out weather patterns. Uh, and he says they have nanofibers. You're breathing in these nanofibers. They've been spraying these on the planet for this been going on since the 90s. And see, I don't want to say the others. Let me see. Nanofibers are basically technology. The nanofibers pretty much turn into an interface. Now you're asking yourself, what is your interface? Your computer that you're probably watching me on right now, or even your cell phone has an interface in it. You want to know why it has an interface because it has a way to be programmed. See, interface is basically essentially a component that allows one to be programmed or allow not really one, but allows a computer to be programmed. So a computer will have what's called an application programming interface, an API. That's what a computer would have. But in these chemtrail, they have nanofibers, and the nanofibers have bio apps. These bio apps are essentially nanofibers that turn into an interface so that these bio apps, so you can be programmed, and create a reality for you and have your thinking, and that these are your thoughts. But reality, you're living in another reality. People thought I was nuts when I was putting out that information. This is 13 years ago, this guy putting this out. Um, and anyway, he says the more organic you eat, the more natural in nature, in tune with nature, the more healthy you eat, the less effective this bio interface from these chemtrails are. So, uh, um, man, I want to play this so bad, but I know people just, oh, you're listening to this guy, you know. Hmm, I'm trying to think. Let's see. I'll play some of it.
Same time, paranoia sets in because you start to think that people are out to get you. You start to think that people are out to get you. So this led into uh, basically a lot of people knocking gang stalking and being basically targeting and stuff like that. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the gang stalking and targeting now. Now, paranoia is, some people are paranoid in the conscious community, and that's why I mentioned it. You do have the paranoid. Some people are just paranoid, and whether it's justified or not, some people are paranoid. Nobody's out to get them. Nothing's going on. You're just paranoid. You're not doing anything to be targeted. Then you have people that are being gang stalked. And this is going on. And I'm going to break down how the chemtrails and all of that tie into it. You see, like the chemtrails, all of that stuff tie into the gang stalking or whatever. And let's go into that now. So most of you that are really big on researching, you have heard of the gang stalking. You've heard of the concept of gang stalking is essentially that you feel like people that know a lot of information, that have cutting edge information that the masses don't know, they over a point in time they start to feel like they're targeted, and they start to feel like they're being followed. And you can Google the gang stalking. I mean, this is like a real live something you can put in Google and it'll come up. So this is something I'm just talking about. You can put this
Now, this video was from 13 years ago.
to a search engine. But I want to point out something here. So and break down how the chemtrails tie into it. So you have the gang stalking, right? And this is legitimate. Some people are being gang stalked. This is happening. So I want you guys to Google it. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here talking about gang stalking and all the different cases of it, but I'm going to tell you what it is. Gang stalking is when some people feel like it's the government, some people feel like it's the New World Order, whoever. I'm going to explain to you who it really is in a minute. See, it's not the government and it's not the New World Order. See,
Now, draw your own opinions from this. You know, this is where we differ. I'm listening, I'm letting y'all listen to this so because his explanation. Now he's going to say ETs are behind it. Now I'm not saying I agree with that. So I'm agreeing with other stuff and how he says this is done.
people fail to realize it's deeper than that. But some people feel like it's the government or the Illuminati or whoever. So these people feel like they're being targeted because of the information they have and they're being gang stalked. They go, say for instance, and this is what gang stalking is. Say for instance, when they go out and they go to a restaurant, people look at them. People treat them funny. People get on phones. And when they get on the phone, next thing you know, the police roll up and the police come in and start looking at them funny. And they get targeted all the time. And they just feel like they're always constantly targeted. This is called gang stalking. And these people are legitimately targeted. Like, if you watch their life, these people are legitimately targeted. And they're like, people are always watching them and all of that. This is called gang stalking. And it has to be pointed out here because it's a reason why this whole gang stalking is going on. It's tied into the chemtrails, and it's tied into the nanofibers. And when the BiApps and the programming of the BiApps is downloaded into you or onto you or into your organs, because these BiApps, they are downloaded to your organs. See, this is like a computer or a computer organism, pretty much essentially. And this is grown. So they spray you with the chemtrails, and that it doesn't stop there. It basically creates an interface so that now you can be programmed from a remote location through electromagnetic programming from a remote location, and you begin to think thoughts. See, thoughts are electric. people fail to realize that like thoughts are electric, so they can electrically send out thoughts to you because they've used these chemtrails and sprayed these chemtrails on you. So they've created an interface, so now they can program you with the BiApps or the BioApps. So that's basically what's going on. So that's the first phase of it. And then so everybody has this on it. Let me break this down there. BiApps, everybody's running BiApps right now. So essentially everybody's running technology in them. Everybody's running technology in them. And I know people are shocked. If you're in a major city, you've been getting sprayed with chemtrails. I don't care what major city you are across the world, you've been getting sprayed with chemtrails, especially in the United States of America. Especially, you've been getting sprayed with chemtrails, and you are running basically BiApps. You might not be running BiApps. Not everybody's running BiApps, excuse me, but you have nanofibers. You have nanofibers. Not everybody's running BiApps. So that's the first phase of it. Now let's get into level 2. Level 2 is nanofibers. So say for instance, a person gets out of line, they are studying a lot of information, they are learning a lot of information, they are becoming enlightened. They download BiApps on you, or programming onto you, so now you're targeted. This is where the gang stalking comes in at, but people fail to realize this is how they're doing it. See, it's through the chemtrails. So now they can download the nanotechnology onto you, and now they can target you. Essentially, they're bugging you. Through the chemtrails, they're putting a bug on you. Let's just keep it clear and then just get a little bit of clarity here so I can basically stop using all these big words. I know a lot of people, a lot of young people out there, they're not really hip to the whole scientific lingo or whatever. They're bugging you like a bug on a phone, a wiretap. They're bugging you in your skin with the chemtrails, right? And
So anyway, basically this guy, if y'all want me to link this in the video, I'll link it in the comments. However, don't think that I believe everything he says just like he says it, okay? Especially like what he believes and all that. But if y'all would like that, I will put the link in there. But so he's basically saying everybody's got the app capabilities in them. Everybody's not activated though, but anybody can be activated at any time. But the way he explains it, he thinks, well, I'm not going to, I don't see, he thinks ETs are behind it. Now, that's where we disagree. I don't think that, but I'm just saying his explanation of all that stuff, and he goes deeper into it, makes a lot of sense. So I think, that's how people just can be activated one day. Uh, okay, I'm gonna catch up on comments, and then let's see, employee. Okay, I ask questions. I always being wrong about conclusions. I think my targeting started during the separation from my sociopathic ex. Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people's targeting that happened due to that. It's also there. It's used cheap bafing radios. This stuff is what way satanic. Throughout it could be Raspberry Pi with a radio hat amplifier and antenna. It could be cellular towers with perps using Ravenclaw on their phones to control the interface and targeting. Very satanic, as the RN friend admitted to me, accused me of being stupid for not realizing earlier. Gang stalking cowards will not be in heaven for sure. Amen. BioApps. I saw this info too. Excellent info. How they get our heart rate and other measurement BioApps. No, this is Gang Stalkers Heaven here. Hi everyone. Hi, Truth Hurts. I've seen body measurements on a medical app on my phone gone off for years. What about transhumanism experimentation? Yeah, true. Yeah, transhumanism experimentation and yeah, bio apps, how wild. Mindy, I'm telling you, it sounds wild, but I mean, when you've had like me, when you've been through stuff like me where they've told your blood pressure, your heart rate, your temperature over a walkie-talkie to another person remotely. I mean, hey, can you tell me Mr. Atkins' blood pressure and vitals, please? And they tell it from wherever they were over the walkie-talkie. You know that stuff like that, you just know that exists. Uh, Mark of Beast being tested on, as somebody said. AI is being the beast. We're definitely being trafficked, Mindy said. AI is definitely the beast, Kaylee Nichols said. Um, Welcome, Kaylee. Tulsi Gabbard says she's going to release info when they leave office. Yeah, Tulsi's resigning sometime in June because her husband got something wrong with her bones. But anyway, do y'all want me to put this video in the chat or not? I just, just please be open-minded and just what I did when I listened to this video, I focused on what had to do with what I was interested in, the targeting part, when he's talking about targeting and how it's done and all that. Because it's very interesting. If you're closed-minded, you're not gonna get nowhere with it. But if you're open-minded, and then he talks about the movie, he said, if you watch the movie Adjustment Bureau, this will give you a good idea what I'm talking about because the Adjustment Bureau is also talking about, remember how he felt like he was being followed before, and he was being watched before he knew about the Adjustment Bureau. He felt like he was being followed and he was being watched. So anyway, he said MK Ultra is child's play compared to what can be done, what's being done to target individuals, basically. Exactly, Anthony. And I witnessed that firsthand. And I think that, I don't know, I think it after I mean, because they did it two different times. I know what they were doing. They were making me stand still. And then I told them, well, I don't even want to share it on this live. But anyway, they were doing something to my brain and I fought it a certain way. And then so after I was saying I was fighting it in a certain way while they had me standing still, they called for my blood pressure again and my blood pressure was normal. So all I was doing was, I'll tell you what I was doing. So they had me standing still on the side of the road. They had stopped me. It's this Jade Helm. I know y'all have heard me talk about it. So after they do all this stuff, if they do real heavy testing with weapons and stuff and do an operation, especially if you're homeless on the streets and they run these scripts on you back to back, B2K, direct energy, then they're making scripts happen, making you act out scripts in your mind. And this really happened. After they're done doing all that, they're going to send an officer out and he's going to gaslight you and he's going to act like he's going to search you and then he's going to act like they're going to hold you there, entertainment, start questioning you on the side of the road. And then he's like, "Why do you moving side to side?" I said, "Because my head is burning, my vision's blurry." And so he asked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was elevated and all that when he got it back or whatever. So then I start focusing I start focusing with my mind right here to this point, and I'm not making this up. I close my eyes, I start focusing energy up to this point, and I stand still and I'm blocking it at this point, like whatever they're doing to me, it's not as bad. So I said, I told the officer, I said, well, I'm blocking it now a little bit. And so he was curious. He told the dude next to him, he's like, this dude said he's blocking it. Get his vitals again. And then he's like, wow, his vitals went down. And I don't know why I done that. What made me start focusing everything right here? But I did. It was just a crazy day that day. And then, well, like I say, once they do all that stuff, then they're going to send an officer to take you off to the mental hospital. And all I remember is going to the hospital, and then they gave me a shot, and I woke up sitting up in a chair. And I had to stay there for 2 weeks. Um, but I don't know what made me do the thing where I focused with my mind, I focused everything to like people call it the pineal gland, and it helped relieve a lot of it. Um, that was in 2015. I know that sounds crazy. I swear everything I just said happened for real. Um, DB Gangstalking, I am Yeti said Gangstalking Simulation. Yeah, I know. I watch him sometimes, and I thought about reaching out to him for an interview. Yeah, Darth Goon said it's the whole program's designed not to be believable. Makes sense. I don't know about ETs either. David Bile sensors are well known. Sabrina Wallace Rothschild has spoken extensively about bile sensors. They told me to breathe because I must hold my breath. They know your respirations. Yes, and I'm telling you, controlled breathing really, really works too. Um, and I want to play this real quick, and I'm probably fixing it. I'm gonna start getting more in order for this, because there's so much stuff I could show y'all and talk about on here, but then when I get in the live, I'm like, well, I kind of it's hard to keep it all organized if y'all know what I mean. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Not just any breath, but a specific type of breathing that activates your parasympathetic nervous system and begins to calm your emotional reaction. You're going to breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Then breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. This is called box breathing, and it's used by Navy SEALs, emergency responders, and elite athletes to maintain calm under extreme pressure. The reason this breathing pattern works is that it stimulates your vagus nerve, which is like a reset button for your nervous system. When you're emotionally activated, your sympathetic nervous system is in control, flooding your body with stress hormones and preparing you for fight or flight. The extended exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and recovery. This begins to counteract the stress response and helps restore rational thinking. You need to repeat this breathing pattern at least 3 times, but continue for as long as necessary to feel your heart rate beginning to slow down. Don't rush this step. The goal is not just to calm down enough to function, but to calm down enough to think clearly. Not just any breath, but a specific type of breathing that activates your.
So the control breathing is very, very effective for me. I use it when I lay down to sleep. I use it during the day. Um, Anytime I lay down, and then anytime I sit in silence, if I'm praying, I'm doing it while I'm praying. Um, I'm just telling you, if I'm getting attacked, if I'm in fight or flight, if something has set me off, some kind of theater outside, or if I'm out with Holly doing something and something sets me off, I'll immediately do that because if you're in fight or flight, and this is why I think a lot of targets um, end up destroying, because what they're doing is, especially the first stage targets, what they'll do is, they run all these psyops on you, especially if you're homeless, you got it worse than anybody. But what I'm saying, even if you're not homeless, they'll still run psyops that's going to keep you in fight or flight, keep your mind paranoid, and due to due to the anxiety and stuff, all these decisions you make are destroying you and making people think you're on drugs, making you people think that you've lost your mind because they're running the psyops with plausible deniability in the background, so there's no way you can point fingers at them, and you destroy yourself with your decisions. And it makes it look like you went off the deep end or you're on drugs, and then they're out of the way with no evidence at all. So it's very important to learn breathing techniques when you're in a scared state or panic state, or they've got some kind of script running on you and they're freaking you out. You got to slow down and think before you make life decisions. It told me to breathe because I almost hold my breath. We're 100%. Okay, transhuman experiments. Greg Braden did an excellent video about breathing so as to get grounded. This video sounds good. I will look for Greg Braden's video. Vagus nerve is critical. Yeah, a guy was telling me about one of my friends on the West Coast, TI friends was telling me about the vagus nerve a few months ago. Um, and how important it is if you can reset it. He thinks it has something to do with we could really help our targeting if we learn. And anyway, he had some theory about the vagus nerve. Also, right, observe, orient, decide, act. Yes. But we do have interviews coming up in the next few weeks. I just slowed way down because we got stuff around here it's got to be took care of. I got to focus on that. And we were pouring a lot of time, um, and it was just draining us. Um,
Parasympathetic nervous system.
if anybody knows a different platform besides Zoom that I could use to do interviews and stuff, let me know. That's free because the Zoom is $17.99 a month, and I can do Zoom, but you can only do a 45-minute interview at a time if you don't pay. And I figured it out I think between Zoom for a year, uh, the email, the video editing software, the thumbnail maker, $18 a month for a year. It's like $530 a year on YouTube, and things are just getting tight. And so if anybody knows anything like where I can just record it, bring somebody on, record, and then upload to YouTube for free, longer than 45 minutes. DMC said Rumble. See, the bad thing about Rumble, I could switch to Rumble, but you still can't do the interviews. You still got to have some a platform to do interviews, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it. Uh, but if anybody, even after this live is over, if you're watching this and you know of any platform that you don't have to pay for to do interviews and stuff, let us know, please. Let's see. Things have just gotten a lot way expensive, and I added it up. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize we were doing that. We were spending that much a year on videos and all that, and so. But there's got to be a platform out there. There's a way around it. I just got to brainstorm. But we do have some interviews coming up. A lot of matter of
Ways
fact,
to calm your emotion.
we got like a few weeks scheduled, but we're going to be taking our time and just going at regular pace. I was trying to find one more thing, but I can't find it right now. Let's see. Maybe it's in, and somebody sent it to me this morning. New attack uses sound signals to manipulate AI voice assistants. So AI voice bots are hijacked by hidden sounds in podcasts, MP3 files, and YouTube clips. Security researchers have demonstrated a new type of attack that uses hidden audio signals to manipulate voice assistants into carrying out unauthorized actions without users noticing. So that is the reason I don't have a platform to record interviews, use StreamYard or Zooms, because I'm not going to pay a monthly fee. I just don't have it. I also don't have the tech. Yeah, Lorraine, it gets expensive. Good morning, David. Good morning, Holly. God bless to all. God bless America, and they at least need to try to stop trying to control everybody's life in the world. I agree. How do you other TIs get decent devices? This has been a major problem for me. I can show you, I can show you how to keep a device protected, all that. If you want to, I would rather not say it over a live stream, but if you'd like to email Holly, Amy, I can give you some tips and hopefully it'll work for you. Because everybody always has this mindset, well, there's no way around it. Well, there are some tips and tricks you can do um, that will allow you to use your devices. Um, Linux has the app chain to do this yourself. Nativity with your own hardware. I'm working on it. Yes, like you can't just be down for the count. I suggest you go to the law library and research Stingray device and how it works. Um, because you can defeat Stingray. You now once you learn how it works. But anyway, just email me and I will through Proton targeted testimony at pm.me and me and Holly will send you an explanation on what to do to help. Now, I am going to do a video on how to set your laptop up. When you get your laptop, there is certain ways you can set your laptop up, but all this relies on having your router set up right. But even if you don't have your router set up, you can protect your laptop And the only way they're gonna be able to get into it is if you're on some website clicking at links you shouldn't click. Um, so regardless of what anybody says, you can protect your devices. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time. I think it took uh about an hour to set my laptop up a certain way. So you can buy a Ghost phone. They're expensive. That should stop a lot of tracking and intrusion. My Wells Fargo account has a voice print signature to authenticate. Yeah, voice cloning. Hold on. It says security researchers have demonstrated a new type of attack that uses hidden audio signals to manipulate voice assistants into carrying out unauthorized actions without users noticing. In one theoretical scenario, an employee joins a Zoom call where soft background music plays beneath the presentation. I lost my train of thought in a meeting. I called, blanked on a colleague's name mid introduction, then sat in the park in like 20 minutes because I couldn't remember why I had driven there. My doctor went quiet. Then I said I want to run some test. Turns out, oh, that's an advertisement. I'm sorry. To everyone on the call, the audio sounds normal, maybe just a little more of an echo than usual, but hidden inside the sound is a malicious signal that is targeting the AI meeting transcriber. While the staff continues to discuss the quarterly targets, the transcriber receives covert instructions hidden in the audio itself, directing it to search for sensitive files, company secrets, or to send information to an attacker controlled email address. The technique was presented on Wednesday at the IEEE symposium, and it says audio agents targeted. The attack targets the growing number of commercial AI systems from the likes of Microsoft, Azure to Mistral that are capable of listening, speaking, and interacting with external tools such as emails, calendars, web browsers. But anyway, Finch said something, not of chips were put in your body. I don't know. I think we're having a delay here, so I don't know what he's talking about. Churches are the number one resources to this program. I don't know if I agree with that. However, I do know that some churches do involve themselves in blacklisting people and, um, you know, participating in targeting. Um, and that's usually because the lies have been spread through the community policing and um, all that. Which brings me to something, even if somebody told a church, hey, this person don't help this person because of uh even if let's just say even if a person uh the church is supposed to reach out and minister to a person, not just shun him and kick him while he's down. Um so, and then if it says go to your brother, and then if he don't receive you, go with another person. But so I can agree. I can see that. I churches are becoming very, very. A lot of them are becoming not about what they say they're about, and that's sad. Not all churches are like that though. But yeah, your church is not supposed to kick somebody when they're down. They're supposed to help them out. Now there's not now, and then try to minister the word of God to them. Believe me, I'm a firsthand. I know churches participate. Matter of fact, I went to a church and asked for food, and they turned me down. And matter of fact, they had done did it one time before, and then I seen a whole line of people lining up there. So the next time I took my friend Lynette with me on FaceTime, showed them turning me down for food, went across the street like I was leaving, waited in the bushes, and 10 minutes later, a whole line of people were there, and I showed her on FaceTime how they were handing food out, but they were told not to give me food. So I know churches participate. I'm saying all churches are not participants. You still got some good churches here and there. Uh, I think vulnerable people are selected, and people who some type calling out or whatever organization. Alternative Homestead says any churches or fronts and corrupt. Oh, anyway, so oh, she said many, yeah, they are. And the thing about that is, you, you can just see them by their fruits, like if you see a homeless person, um, it don't matter if he's done your friend wrong or whatever. If you're a follower of Christ, you're supposed to help that homeless person. You're not, or with food, basic needs, you're not supposed to just kick him while he's down, say, "Oh, we're not going to give you no clothes. We're not going to feed you because you done this person wrong." And some churches, if you've done somebody in the church wrong or something like that, they'll attack you like that. But I don't think that's how Christ would move. I think Christ would at least feed them. Maybe he would feed them and clothe them. Now that don't mean that uh, you're going to enable them to hurt more people and stuff, but to get food in their belly and clothes on their back, especially if they're dirty, and give them a cup of water. That's what followers of Christ do. But anyway, I'm fixing to go. I got stuff to do. Thank you for coming. And I seen that correct. They changed Lorraine's thing. It said any, but it meant many. Oh, let's see. Yes, many, but not all. My phone is intercepted. The Christian project here is all in. My type must have been distorted. My apologies, David. Yeah, just judge if you're trying to decide if you are serious about going to church. Just sit back and watch the church's fruits. Uh, you know, um, my grandmother went to a Pentecostal church growing up, and this church. If you tied to this church would actually if somebody in the church if a church member was down on their rent or needed food, the money from the tithes went for food and rent. And then my grandma went to church, was a lifelong member, and she got too old to actually she was handicapped. She couldn't make it to church. So Brother Titus, every Sunday for 15 years, would come see her. Him and his wife would come see my grandmother for 15 years straight every Sunday and bring them dinner and talk. And then my grandmother had lupus and osteoporosis, and she would write letters. She would stay positive all the time in a chair and write letters to people in the church that couldn't make it, who were sick. So she was, even when she wasn't in church, she was active writing letters. So there's still some good churches out there that actually do what the church is supposed to do. Um, and it's sad how a lot of churches have fell off from the main purpose of what church is supposed to be. But I don't. When I think of church, I think of anybody who's a believer, because the church is not a building that God. It's not a box that God's in on Sundays. The church is the people, the believers, scattered abroad. The evil will fall. God will have his place in his righteous and high places. Kindness can cause conversion. Yes. Thank you for your effort, David. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, Ann. I think that's you. Eternal rest grant her and all who may pass. May perpetual light shine upon us. So anyway, God bless everybody, and I'm gonna try to keep a notebook and be more organized because there was more stuff I wanted to show y'all, but it's lost in between TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit. It's all spread out. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to be more organized.